My name is Beatrice Crona. Defining what is material is important for our ability to prioritize and act. Financial materiality concerns factors that are directly affecting a company's financial performance. It's rooted in the accounting profession and has therefore naturally had a company-centric perspective. As a result, environmental impacts that do not appear to have an effect on a company's financial performance have tended to be overlooked. So, what environmental impacts are actually important to keep track of in relation to biodiversity? Well, IPBES lists 5 direct drivers of biodiversity change that stem from human activity. These are land and sea use change, direct exploitation, including water use and volumes of natural resources extracted, climate change, pollution, and invasive alien species. We often refer to these drivers as environmental pressures. And to understand the potential biodiversity impacts of any given investment, we therefore need to know to what degree they are adding to these environmental pressures in a given place. I say given place because this is where biodiversity differs from climate. A carbon released in Sweden or China or elsewhere has the same effect on the climate. But essentially all other pressures that we put on the environment, for them the effect is location specific. And as an example, take the construction and operation of large data centers. These require clearing of land and they use significant amounts of water for cooling. The effect of establishing and running a data center in northern Sweden will therefore differ from locating that same data center in southern Spain, which is an arid, water-stressed region with little forest cover. Now, biodiversity or environmentally material information is therefore information that tells us something about where the impact occurs. For all environmental impacts other than carbon emissions, the information, as we heard, is required at the level of individual assets or sites of operation. What activity is causing the impact is also important. It matters because, as we know, different types of activities can have quite different impacts. Mining is different from road infrastructure versus agriculture or even ocean-based industries. How much impact or pressure is put on the environment is also important. Concretely, this would be information about how much pollutants, waste, or emissions are released into the environment, but also how much resources are used or appropriated as inputs into the operations. For example, water or land use. Measuring actual biodiversity impact from corporate activities, such as changes in biodiversity over time, would require data collection on site in many different places along increasingly complex value chains. Currently, this is most likely unfeasible due to limited resources, underdeveloped measurement tools and protocols, and frankly also a lack of consensus on which of the multiple dimensions of biodiversity to prioritize in any given place. Do we want to know about changes in the entire ecosystem of individual species populations, and if so, what types of species should be in focus, or are we interested in genetic diversity? For this reason, the most common and pragmatic way to currently assess corporate biodiversity or other environmental impacts is to estimate it by using a variety of sophisticated scientific models where the input data into those models is the known environmental pressures that corporate activities have on local environments. Precisely the environmental pressures identified by IPBES that we have just reviewed here today. So remember, with information about what, where, and how much, a range of scientifically grounded analytical methods and tools become available for meaningfully estimating various types of environmental impact. Therefore, simply put, the answer to the question, what is material in relation to biodiversity, is what, where, and how much of the 5 pressures identified by IPBES.